Okay, let me say something that might step on a few tweezers, so to speak. You're trying to build a thriving beauty career alone without education and without community. You're making it 10 times harder than it needs to be. Welcome to The Sugar Show, the podcast for beauty pros ready to drop the wax stick, master body sugaring the smart way, and build a career that loves you back. Whether you're brand new or a seasoned sugar pro, there's something sweet for you in every episode. I'm the Sugar Mama. Let's get into it. Okay, Sugar Tribe, it's time. Welcome to the Sweet Success Series, The Road to SugarCon. I'm Shannon, the Sugar Mama. And this year, the Sugar Show is the official podcast series partner of SugarCon, I am happy to say, which means we are going to use this season to raise the sweet standard for sugar pros. Today's episode isn't about getting ready yet. It's about something bigger, about why community and conferences change careers, actually, it changed mine, and why you should start planning now. It's a few months away, and you really do need to start thinking about how you're going to use this in your tools and saving and really listening to each of these episodes to get a better understanding of each of the speakers and some of the sponsors. And Sarah, you're going to be hearing from all of them over the course of the next few weeks until it's time to go. So if you're kind of on the fence about buying your ticket, or you're on the fence about whether or not you want to go at all, or you're on the fence about you bought the ticket and you're like, I don't know what to expect. Or you went last year and you're like, okay, how can I meet some of these people before I head to Cleveland? Then all of that is going to be for you in the coming weeks. So the truth is, talent just isn't enough. You can be talented and still, not really have your business dialed, not really have your expertise really showcased in your marketing. Your skill and confidence will come when you get feedback from other colleagues. And what I love is when you are feeling isolated and you're wondering, am I doing this right? Am I good enough? Is it just me? It's the community that fixes that fast. And I found that there are things that I don't even know that I was able to learn at the last SugarCon. And that's what I want for you is to, your clients see results. I want you to see results. And you need your peers to wrap their arms around you, and you need to wrap your arms around your peers, to be honest, so that we all can have an amazing experience and just love this industry more than we already do. Beauty can be lonely in the treatment room. If you're a solo and you're just flying you're just flying by yourself, if you don't have coworkers, even if you have coworkers, but you really all just stick to your own treatment room, or maybe you're an employee and you don't feel like you connect with the other people that are around you, or you feel like you're nervous to ask them questions because maybe they know how to sugar and you're new, or maybe you're a veteran and you don't want to admit there's things that you don't know. Community really gives you about 5 things I can think of right off the top of my head. So accountability, it gives you standards, it gives you support when you hit that weird skin situation, it gives you a reality check, and it really helps you with friendships and momentum and referrals. So every time I've gone to an industry event, I leave remembering that I'm not crazy and I'm just in the process. And that is priceless. I think sometimes we go to a conference feeling like, I got this. What else can I learn? Or maybe like, I remember the very beginning, I thought to myself, I have no idea what I'm doing, but I don't want to admit that. So I'm going to just sit in these classes and try to figure it out. That is what the baseline is for a conference, is just taking what you know, what you don't know, what you don't realize you don't know, and exposing it and helping you to learn and grow. I was so pleasantly surprised with the last conference. I like I said, I've been doing this a really, really long time. And there were things, and there were people that I had never met before that I'd only seen on socials. There were companies that I'd never even heard of that were doing what we do. And that is really what this does, is it opens your eyes to what else is out there. So lots of us actually, we have just been doing facials and now we're bringing sugaring on to our treatment menu. Lots of us are only sugaring. Like that's me. Like I stopped doing facials. I only sugar. And just when you think that, you can't learn anymore, you absolutely do from a conference like this. So the community doesn't just make you feel better, it just makes you better. I know my team and I, when we kind of regrouped and recapped after we got back from Cleveland, we were like, okay, that was the coolest experience that we didn't realize we were going to have. We just thought it would be like any other conference. And we left making more friends, having more laughs, and feeling more seen than we even realized we were going to have, right? Which is why my entire team wants to come back in August and give back. So we'll be there with a kind of a station of let us help you work on your technique tables, and we'll be working with you live just so you can ask the ridiculous questions like, how do I do noses? I was surprised. And there's a lot of people that don't know how to sugar ears. We're going to help you. That's what we're going to be there for. And there's going to be classes and there's going to be just spirit. It's more, I got more of that out of SugarCon than I've gotten. And I go to a lot of trade shows. I speak at a ton of trade shows. And I got more personally and professionally out of SugarCon than I do at some of the big shows. Some of the big shows I feel lost in. I could be speaking at a big show or leading in a booth, and I still feel kind of lonely. Like I can't really ask the questions I want to ask. And I didn't feel that. I felt like SugarCon was very intimate, and which is why I'm like dedicating this entire podcast series to it, because I really feel like it's that important. The other thing to think about is how a conference can change your career. So I found that I got quite a few things this last year out of the conference, and also that I found that our education team, some of them are a little newer at this than I am, and I watched them experience clarity. They kind of stopped guessing what it was to do next, or guessing if the product that they had in their hand was the best, or guessing what else is out there. I found that some of their skills really took a big jump because they were able to watch a technique class. And sometimes, there were some students, estheticians, sugar pros that came up to me and said, yeah, I'm struggling with this. And I just adjusted their hand a little bit and lightened their pressure. And one correction just changed everything for that person. So that was really cool. I think it really resets your standard when you see other people that really, really know what they're doing. It really like makes you want to up your game. It helps you build that confidence. And it's just the best is when you get that connection and you meet your people and future opportunities. I mean, I met with some folks that we're going to be doing some partnership things, and we already are doing partnership pieces in some areas. And I introduced people that were in the same town, which is very cool. And now I see them on socials working together and hanging out and helping to improve each other. And that was really wildly cool too. And you come home with a renewed sense of energy and a plan. So a conference is really kind of like plugging your business into a charger. You didn't realize how low you were until you're back at 100%. And that's what I feel like we needed in this industry, because sugaring, there wasn't really anything for us. Like there was stuff for waxers and facial and facialists, but there really wasn't anything for just us. There wasn't even an apron that we could have that said, I can sugar that. There was all the wax stuff. And so now we even have swag that has, things for us on it. So let's talk about the education, right? And I was really excited that all the education was for us in one place. I go to a big trade show and a lot of times I'm the only sugar class. And that's really hard because you want more than that hour, right? But you have to learn about all these other things, which is great for some of you that do all those other things. But this really helps to make you well-rounded in sugaring, and then using accessories, dermaplaning, oncology, aesthetics as it relates to sugaring and hair removal. It skins barrier. You're going to learn other things in addition to just mold and flick, which is really, really cool as well. So, instead of taking these, random classes scattered across the year, a lot of times the only thing you can get is an online class. And this is live in person. People like myself and Sarah and Shauna Rocha and various others that are teaching that get to wrap their arms around you. And it's really concentrated, which I really appreciated and enjoyed last year, was just how it was just a deep dive into all things that relate to you, not just sort of relate to you. You can compare approaches. You can watch someone who holds their hand a little differently, and you can be there to personally ask them, hey, how am I holding my hand? I notice you do this different. Why am I doing, what's up with the flick? How come these products don't work for me? Let's talk humidity. Like, there's so many things that you can be talking about that'll really, really help. And, you can really recalibrate once you get your questions answered, which I absolutely love. And, it's really hard for us to level up when we're only learning little bits and pieces, or maybe trial and error on a client, right? You might do something a little different and go, oh, look, that worked. But if you would have gone to a show like SugarCon and, learning that from one of these amazing educators, you could have saved yourself a lot of time, and your clients, would really, really benefit from that change. Let's talk about budgeting for a once a year conference. And I want this to be normal in what you put in your budget, because if you are a serious skincare professional, you budget for your education like you would budget for supplies. And it is absolutely critical that you make a priority SugarCon, because if you don't, and you just put this on a credit card and throw it, to the wind, you will find that your books will really, really feel it. I will love that you'll be educated, and that'll be wonderful, but we don't want to put you in any sort of debt to get there. And those who are right now budgeting and putting a little bit aside, put your tips aside, put a percentage aside, so that you can budget and really, really have a lovely experience. You trust me, you'll be so much better off. So I really want you to invest in your future self this year. And, even if it's just 50 or $100, if it's, one or two services that you can put aside and save, create a little like conference envelope, right? That you can transfer money into a separate account. You know that you can do that with your bank account. You can add a side savings and just auto transfer weekly, $25, $50, $100. And soon you'll have everything saved for, and you won't need to put it on a card. And use it only for your education and your travel. Okay. And this way you can go and not stress and really enjoy yourself and know that you've earned it. Right. So maybe you add a couple of bucks if you're not quite sure how you'll make any more money to get to a conference. Add a small little education bump to one of your services. Like if you're constantly doing Brazilian maintenance, instead of 55, charge 60, right? And that little $5 every single service will add up. Do a conference fund week, and shamelessly plug, hey, I'm trying to get to this conference. I would love it if you can support me by upgrading your services and really get people to be a part of it, because it benefits them, right? It benefits your customers if you get better. And I want to see you engaging your clients and understanding that your clients want you to do better so that they can have a better experience. So maybe get them involved. Maybe you save your retail commissions for a couple of months, or maybe you skip a non-essential subscription like that FitFab Fun box that you always get. Instead of getting that for a couple of months, use that money towards this conference, because it is that good. And I'm promising you, it is that worth it. So with one repeat client, you can pay for your education, and a better skill set can pay for your entire year. Think about that. If you just say to yourself, I'm worthy of this, Budgeting shouldn't be about restriction. It should be a permission to go do something that will better your skills. And again, it will better them too. So I'm going to get off my high horse. You know, I love SugarCon. We're going to talk about how much I love SugarCon, but we are going to talk about, we're going to talk with the speakers and sponsors that will be there so that you can get a good idea of who you're going to see and gather your questions. And over the next few episodes, I am going to bring you those conversations with the people that really are helping to raise the standard. They are the educators, the sponsors, the leaders, and you can start to learn what's possible and start planning your growth intentionally. Okay. So you're going to see Mabel Bachabunga Butler. You're going to see Sarah Herbst, of course. You'll see my entire team. You will see Jarrett from Kiko. There's so many amazing humans that will be there and all in one roof, under one roof, and spending their time with you. So we're going to talk about men's services. We're going to talk about corrective care in this season. We're going to talk about business planning and what you need right now. So I encourage you to, I'm going to make sure that the episodes are relatively short and sweet so that you can listen to them just on a quick dog walk. It doesn't have to be something that takes 3 or 4, trips in the car to get through. I want you to have access to some ideas about what you should be looking for at SugarCon. Some little tasters of the speakers that you will be experiencing. Armando Gualtieri on our team is going to be there talking about men's corrective care, men's care. And he is one of the most special humans in our industry. And I'm really excited to share him with you, even more than we already have. And there's lots of people that will really just open your heart about this industry. I want to speak really quick about Cleveland. When I first found out that last year's SugarCon was going to be in Cleveland, I was like, "Are you sure, Sarah?" But of course, that's where Sarah lives, so it makes sense because she's putting this whole thing together with her heart, her soul, her brains. I mean, she put together the most beautiful, the most well done first time event I think I've ever seen executed in our industry. I will give you that, Sarah. And we'll talk about that in the next episode. But I want to talk about Cleveland because I, I really didn't know that Cleveland would be like a place that I would find to be cool. And it had the coolest Airbnbs. It's right by the water, which no one even like suspected. There were so many fun little spots to go. And we were like, we left that experience and thought, I actually love Cleveland. And it's just not a city I ever thought I'd ever visit. And I think that if you can wrap your heart around new experiences, like what a cool thing to say. Like, I heart Cleveland. Like who would have thunk? Like we all go to New York, we go to, Southern California, that's overdone. We go to, Texas and it's, I don't know, like there's lots of shows that you can go to, right? But Cleveland was actually more fun than I ever thought. So I'm really glad she's having it back there actually, because I really enjoyed it. And I think we all kind of felt like that when we left last time. So kudos to you, Sarah, for making Cleveland sexy and sweet. Okay, so I'm not here to pressure you. I want to make sure that you are expanding what you believe is possible for your career. If you have ever thought, I want to be better at this, or I want to make some money without burning out because I'm really tired. I've been doing this a really long time. Then, this season is for you, newbie or veteran, doesn't matter. This season is for you. I want you to subscribe and stay with me. And again, I will keep the rambling to a minimum and we will get down to chatting with these guests. So my sweet, sweet friends, I want to make sure that you are as educated as possible. Reach out to us, reach out to Sarah Herbst. You'll meet her in the next episode if you haven't already. Follow each one of these speakers. Follow their Instagrams. We'll put that all in the show notes. We'll let you know how you can get in touch with them. They're going to give you a little taste every episode of what they're all about and what they're going to teach you, and open your mind and, of course, your heart to what is possible for your career. It's, again, not just about the mold and flick. It's about everything else around it. So my sweet, sweet friends, I hope you enjoyed that. And I look forward to sharing the speakers and sponsors and leaders in the next few weeks with all of you. All right, Sugar Tribe, that's your sweet success takeaway for today. And if this episode helped you, do me a favor, subscribe, leave a quick review, and send it to a Sugar Pro friend who needs a little extra confidence behind the table. We're getting SugarCon ready. See you in Cleveland.